Hey, this is Jack, and this video is called Why Do Guys Friend Zone? So this video will be helpful to you if you have found yourself in the friend zone and you're wondering why, or if this is a repeated pattern that's happening to you, like you're kind of always getting friend zoned, or maybe you got friend zoned in a previous connection and you're still trying to make sense of it and you haven't fully been able to move on. So if any or all of those apply, please watch this to the end. I think I've got some stuff that will help you. So let's crack right into it. So why do guys friend zone you? So I'm going to give you a simple three-part pattern that guys fall within. And if you've been on this channel for a while, you might recognize this, but this is going to be a guiding kind of scheme to take us through this video. So there are three ways that guys can relate to you, right? One is as a friend or companion, one is as a lover, and one is as a partner. Right? Now, each of those is valuable in its own right, but they also are distinct in some ways. So if a guy is putting you in a friend zone, he is basically limiting you to that first category, right, of friend or companion. Now, it may be a real connection for him, right? Sometimes all guys are available for is companionship, and you might be the principal companion and or the only companion in his life. Right? So you are, in a sense, more, quote, special, unquote, to him than anyone else in this immediate cycle of his life, but he's just not available for a lovership and he's not available for a partnership, right? So that can sometimes be confusing if you want more and the level of friendship seems to imply that actually there could be more and you're attracted to him, but for whatever reason, he is not available for more, right? It might be not in this season and cycle. It might be he's come out of an experience, he's still metabolizing. It might be that he hasn't got his own foundation beneath him. It might be that he's preoccupied and stressed with work or family commitments. In a sense, it doesn't actually matter what the reason is. The main thing is for you to see that this is the category that he's put you in, right? The other reason that a guy might put you in the friend zone is that most guys decide fairly quickly in a connection whether they see that it has romantic potential or not, right? So whether they see that you could be a lover and or a partner. Now, most of you, by the way, in a committed partnership, you're going to want a friendship. You're going to want someone that feels like a friend, and you're also going to want someone that's a lover, right? That there's a dynamic passion and sexual connection, right? But it's sort of like an accumulative model, sort of meaning that each can kind of enclose or fancy speak transcend and include the previous category. So this isn't to suggest that if you're looking for a partner you don't get to have a friend and lover, but not often do we find all three consistently in one person, right? So if you have found that, congratulations, that sounds like a really precious thing. But for this video and our purposes, you're trying to understand why has he put you in the friend zone. And guys make that determination fairly quickly whether they see a level of sexual attraction or attraction to you that they could imagine wanting to be physical with you, right? Which is really the domains of the lover and partner categories. So if he doesn't see that, it's probably because he doesn't feel sufficiently romantically or physically connected to you. Now, there is a sort of a third option that's sort of a subset of this, which is actually he does see that, but he notices that he doesn't think you guys would be compatible as partners, right? This is a fairly sort of mature masculine discernment because he's going to say no to the potential lovership with you, right? Assuming that you would be available for that. And we're not assuming that, but just in this purpose, this video I am for the moment. He's actually saying no to the romantic and or sexual attraction to you because he knows ultimately that he doesn't see it going somewhere for the longer term. And that's actually a pretty great orientation towards you, right? Even if that's a little hurtful or confusing because you want that, but he's not willing to step into lovership because actually there's some kind of bigger compatibility that he doesn't see, right? There could be that he just knows he's not ready for a committed relationship, or it could be that specifically to the connection with you, there's some aspect of it that for him could be maybe a deal breaker, right? Maybe there's enough of a worldview difference or values difference or geography difference or education difference or ways of making meaning about the world or just sort of energetic difference that he doesn't see it moving in that direction. And again, that's probably good that he's friend zoned you, right? Because if you see a romantic partnership potential, but he only sees a lovership potential, that's usually going to end up in some kind of pain. Right? It's not easy for you to be a lover with someone that you actually want more with. And by the way, you may not want to be a lover at all, right? The categories in your life might be I'm single, or you're my boyfriend, and or we're moving towards commitment, So I'm not assuming that that's a category that you're all going to be interested in, but for a lot of you, that is going to be part of the dating terrain. So what's the kind of the ninja move here? The ninja move is to actually not need to know why he's friend zoned you. You can invite him to let you know, right? Sometimes if you're strong enough to hear it, there could be some useful feedback, right? Sometimes guys friend zone you because they're not feeling the physical attraction. Sometimes it's because they don't see the partnership potential. Sometimes it's because they're not available for a relationship. Sometimes it's because their sense is that you wouldn't be partner material because there's a way that you occur to them as being sort of casual about your relating, or casual about sex, or casual or sort of ungrounded about the real potential for a partnership style of relationship, right? So sometimes that's where they may see you as more like a fun person to connect with, but not a person that they would want a serious relationship with. So there can be useful feedback to be had from a guy if you sense that he's in his heart and that he cares enough to give you legitimate feedback. And perhaps if you have the experience across different guys that you're constantly getting friend zoned, if you can, I would risk getting some feedback, right? Either from a coach or therapist and or from a bunch of guys that you have related to, and just sort of say, this might, you can be a no to this, obviously, but I'd be really curious if you could just be honest with me. Like, what had you decide, if anything, to put you in the friend zone? Take it with a pinch of salt, because sometimes it's just a vibe thing, right? Sometimes it's not an easily knowable thing. Why am I not attracted to you? It's sort of animal instinctual stuff. It's not always based on logic and reason. Mostly it isn't. So, but if you perhaps get a variety of guys to give you feedback and you're hearing the same thing, then there's probably at least a partial truth in it, right? Even if you're being misperceived, right? Even if they're perceiving you as like the fun party girl, and maybe they're missing that actually there's a serious, partner potential in you. Good to know, right? Sometimes the way that the world perceives us, right? For example, in astrology, there's a way of talking about this, right? With the ascendant sign, it just, the thing that people first off notice us, or the identity that other people have us in, isn't always the way that we feel from the inside out, so it can be good just to check that out. But sometimes you may be leading with a persona because it feels safe, or because it's seductive to guys, right? That if you are super flirtatious, or if you are, let's say, super fun and kind of giggly, that gets guys' attention. But there's a difference between what gets guys' attention and what has a guy that you want to be in a more committed style of relationship with want to relate with you, right? So sometimes the thing that you lead with that is good at getting attention, maybe you wear incredibly outrageous clothing, right? Maybe you wear really bright clothing. Maybe you're good at getting attention. Maybe your sexual instinct, the part of it which is to do with attraction and attracting and soliciting attention, is strong. You know how to get guys' attention. But you now need to kind of transition into bringing forth more of your authenticity about your desire and potential as a romantic partner. And maybe that bit isn't so front and center, right? Maybe the part of you that is reliable and caring and giving and steadfast, right? Maybe there's just different qualities that also go into how someone looks at romantic partnership. This is very simplistic, right? But if we think of the three instincts from an Enneagram perspective, right? The social, sexual, and self-preservation instincts. There's a sort of dominant energy to each of those, right? Which you could sort of say the sexual instinct in dating is hotness, right? Does someone find you hot and attractive? The social instinct is going to be something like friendliness. And the self-preservation instinct is going to be something like stable. Right? Now, guys vary in what they're initially attracted to, right? What gets their attention in a bar, and what actually is what they're looking for when they come to partner, And so some guys, they're going to want to perceive like a minimum effective dose of stability, because that's what they care about, right? That's what they're looking for. They're looking to build a very stable existence with someone. For some guys, what they really care about is, the charge and the hotness and the passion, and some guys want it all, and they care about all of it, but sometimes the things we consciously think we care about are not necessarily the things that we're actually prioritizing, right? So we might say, I want this, and this, but if we look at how you're actually looking at who you want to partner with, it can sometimes be different, right? Which is why when I talk about the three instincts, I talk about them as an unconscious value set, right? They're the things that are actually driving behavior rather than maybe what we consciously tell ourselves. You know, so if you're just hearing that and you're noticing like, yeah, when I date, I don't really perhaps bring the side of me that is caring and friendly, right? Maybe I lead with the side that's more, it's more my cat-like side, right? Maybe I lead a bit more with my push and my pull and my seductiveness. Then how about trying on a different flavor, just to notice, right? Just to bring forth more authentic parts of you, right? Sometimes the danger in life and in dating is that we are stuck in a certain personified way of being, right? We're stuck in our persona to the point where we don't even see it and we take it to be ourselves, right? We are unconsciously identified with our own persona. So you might be unconsciously identified with being the seductive one or the hot one, or maybe it's completely opposite, right? Maybe you are the, the safe pair of hands, but actually there's not enough mystery and difference and attraction that you're bringing forward. Maybe that's kind of dialed down for you, perhaps for good reason. So this is just a way of thinking about different flavors, right? You could also think about this as the elements, right? The elements: water, emotion, fire, attraction, earth, stability, air, kind of spirituality or intellectual connection, right? And I'm grossly simplifying here, but just sometimes it can be useful to think, oh, what is actually true for me, and am I bringing that forward, right? Am I underrepresenting myself in some way? Now, for clarity, none of this is about me saying you should change who you are for someone else, right? I'm actually saying the opposite. I'm saying if there's more of you than you are used to showing because there's a way that you stay safe, right? We all have a need for safety, but sometimes we stay safe by doing a thing that we know how to do, right? By even approaching dating from a very particular stance, right? I sort of know if I say this, men are more interested. I sort of know if I ask for this kind of date, men tend to take me on it. But if that's not ultimately bearing you the fruit that you want, then we want you to change your approach and to stay flexible. But staying flexible isn't about diminishing authenticity, right? It's actually about bringing forth more authenticity, because most of us have a lot, right? We are complex beings, we are nuanced, we have different sides of us. Some sides of us are only brought forth in certain connections. So this is that kind of invitation to actually bring more of you forth. So I would love to know if this is resonating with you. If you want to know more about the 3 instincts or the Enneagram, let me know in the comments. If you have tried bringing forth different aspects of your authentic self, let me know. How is that going? Leave me a comment. Does this make sense? Like as a kind of a way of approaching dating and thinking about it? I'd love to know. Hit me up, leave me a comment. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new here or you haven't yet subscribed. I would love to have us. I'd love to have us with you, but I'd love to have you with us. Hit subscribe and then tap that bell notification so you hear of new videos as soon as they come out. I release videos every week, sometimes more than once a week. And as always, I'm Jack. Thanks for being here.